Hello, everybody. I'm Stephen Lynch, and my partner, Brandon Klein.
Hello, everybody.
We're going to be talking to you about the multi-billion-dollar history of podcasts.
It has become multi-billion-dollar. You're right.
Yeah. Well, originally, podcasts, they didn't start in a garage. They mostly started as a way to bypass the gatekeeping. So you didn't need a license to do podcasting. But if you had a radio station, you had to pay all the licensing, you had to pay the FCC, you had to comply, you had to keep the naughty words away, all that. Before Spotify, before Apple, audio was controlled by FCC guidelines, sponsor rules.
And that stuff actually started to kill radio, and that's why many people moved over to podcasting.
Yes, and you didn't have to have a radio tower to host your own podcast. You could do it in a garage. Now, those times are over, but I'll explain that later on. But the internet changed everything. And today, the same idea of just people talking is now driving $200 million deals and billion-dollar acquisitions like, Joe Rogan is given $1 billion to talk.
The advertisers have moved over to podcasting.
Yeah.
And it's just as legitimate as any other radio show. Radio is actually probably has less listeners than ever.
I don't listen to. I do listen to some radio when I don't feel like actually choosing what I want to listen to. So there's times where I watch the airwaves because I don't want to actually curate what the heck I'm watching.
It's really just like, let's see what the radio is doing nowadays. You kind of spin around the dial and see that it's nothing good, and
exactly
go back to your podcast.
Yeah, well, and there's times, heck, in this studio, while I'm like moving stuff around or changing wires, all the different logistics of podcast studio stuff. I've got the TV on. I'm watching Columbo and Walker, Texas Ranger. Rest in peace, Chuck Norris. I actually just started watching a lot of Walker, Texas Ranger. Did you know that according to Walker, Texas Ranger lore, there are like 10 million terrorist organizations in Texas that all need to be defeated?
That makes sense.
I mean, they got access to missiles. I've seen two Texas Rangers, him and his partner Cordell. No, he was Cordell. And the other one was whatever.
Walker?
Well, there was Walker, Cordell Walker, and then the other guy, his partner, the black guy.
I'm happy to say I've never seen one episode.
What? It's campy. It's great. It's a great show. It's feel-good TV, man. I felt good watching
I've seen the clips on Conan and stuff. It looks funny. Silly.
So,
crazy.
Let's break down podcasts. It started off as before podcasts, radio.
Marconi.
Yeah, Gunsmoke. Literally, I've thought about doing that in here, where you get a couple of like random things to make sound effects. Like two coconuts to make the sound for, and then like pow and old Western shows, or you take a Broadway show and you do it live in a room like this with the sound and everything.
War of the Worlds where Orson Welles. Orson Welles did his famous broadcast where people thought it was real.
Yeah, and it was long form. I mean, Little Orphan Annie. Make sure to drink your Ovaltine, kids. There was a lot of long broadcasts, and it was serialized. Where the Lone Ranger and Gunsmoke, there was hundreds and hundreds of episodes.
And people sat there, and it was all they had, and it was their entertainment, and they were blown away by it.
Oh, yeah.
Before we were all desensitized.
That, and this is probably very multi-generational. It might be one of the few things that the boomers and the greatest generation had in common with, like, us, is the negotiation for, like, Well, Little Orphan Annie comes on at 8. Can I stay up until 9 until that ends? Okay, one day of the week, you guys get to stay up for Little Orphan Annie. That's it.
It was long before our time. It was 30, 40 years before I was alive.
Yeah, well, there's no negotiation anymore. Now that everything's on demand, the moment it comes out at midnight, you can't negotiate for that extra hour. But kids today, I think they're a little bit more. I think they got bigger problems. So,
access to everything,
yeah,
all of the time.
So, radio controlled the airwaves when it came to people talking into microphones. Television came in and added a new format, but something happened in the 90s. MP3, the MP3 format, where everyone started like taking their mini discs and loading them up with music and taking stand-up bits or, cutting. Heck, you'd take old, you record little bits of radio, the mixtape.
Right.
There was a lot of that stuff. And what happened was it started going into internet forums, and people were able to upload the audio to certain places, data banks, and there's basically no station. There was no gatekeeping anymore, but there was a problem. Listeners had to manually download every single file. So there was places like, and remember Napster?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so I went on Napster and downloaded things that weren't music. There was just audio files and just random stuff,
Comedy, like comedy shows.
Comedy.
Bill Cosby and Norm Macdonald.
Yeah, exactly.
Steve Martin.
No subscription model, no automation. It was clunky, but the core idea had been unlocked. Anybody could talk. Anybody could access this. Well, everything changed in 2004. iTunes came out. And
I remember it well.
Oh, yeah. And it was not because there was... it was just a new format for... of course, the original intention was music. But the spoken word could also be transmitted on that.
Steve Jobs he created the word. So I think he knew the vision that iPodcasting would be huge.
Yeah. So like just the iPod, and instead of listening to music on your iPod, you can download any form of MP3 onto your disc. Developers like Dave Weiner and Adam Curry modified RSS feeds to include audio files instead of just music.
Those were like the old blog format were RSS feeds.
Yeah.
And then you could add audio files, and I think it was before the video file, but
oh yeah,
it was getting there, but you might have like a 1 second video file or something.
Yeah. But basically the content was being delivered to people in a new format. Instead of through the airwaves, where if I said poo poo pee pee on the radio, I might get fined.
Very controversial.
Very controversial. I'm a poopy head.
And it really was that bad because you're not allowed to talk about excrement on the radio.
No. And if it did pass FCC rules, the peanut butter cookie that pays for the entire show, or Coca-Cola, or whatever the heck, whoever sponsors it, might threaten to pull everything from your station just because they have you on. And we've all read of Opie and Anthony and Howard Stern. There's a reason that they moved to outside of radio because they're a little too much for me, but they have no limits there. And then Apple adds podcasts to iTunes in 2005. 2005 was a big year for podcasts. That's when podcasts actually got their own individual category on the iTunes store.
Do you remember your first podcast you listened to?
No. No,
it crept up on a lot of people because they just existed, and then they were a thing, and not everybody was there at the beginning of it all.
You know what? I liked the old-fashioned radio DJs.
Yeah.
I would wake up in the morning and listen to the rock station in Baltimore. It got far enough into DC area that I could listen to it. And Larry the Cable Guy would call them almost like 3 times a week in the morning, and just sounded like he was still drunk for the night before.
Yeah.
Um,
Which is another thing about radio is Steven was over there listening to that. We probably didn't even get that in California.
No.
We had Adam Carolla, or we had Howard Stern, and then Adam Carolla took over for Howard Stern, and then Adam Carolla shortly then got his own podcast. That would be the first one I listened to, was like Adam Carolla when he moved over to podcasting.
Yeah, and it honestly, it sounded like Larry the Cable Guy was calling 6 different radio stations throughout the country.
Yeah.
You know, like he started on the East Coast and just slowly called all the morning shows along the way.
So once podcasting opened, then all of these comedians and voice guys, they could jump over and just do a show that everybody in the country could hear, potentially, even though the audience was small.
Yeah, and then every radio show just, I mean, I think I didn't start watching podcasts. I was listening to radio shows that said, "Oh yeah, this is all recorded. Just if you miss it, listen to the podcast of today's episode."
Yeah, and we would assume at that time, like, only a few hundred people were even listening to it in that format.
Yeah. But at that point, the data, see, you don't really have the cold hard data of who's listening to a show on the radio waves.
Yeah,
you don't really. It doesn't report back.
Right. They had different ways of doing it, like Nielsen ratings, and they would actually have like they would have machines that would listen to people's cars like on the street to like come up with ratings that way.
I don't know.
Yeah, that is a real story. They had different ways of doing it.
Really?
They would either take surveys or they would have like ways to listen to.
Okay,
what
so
was coming out of cars,
who was listening to
what
who?
was coming out of cars, but it was insane because they didn't have any real way of, it wasn't the internet, it was the radio. So,
yeah. God, that must have been a cushy job. You could just make anything up. Well, and for years it was like that. Then, so slowly the radio show format not transitioned, but kind of like embraced the podcast vibe. And it wasn't mainstream. People weren't listening to podcasts. People that were kind of douchey talked about.
There was also a barrier to do it. So like, it wasn't easy to just get on every platform and to have a major audience. It's like people had to maybe even create their own way to get it to people. I'm not sure how they even did it back then, but I don't think it was as easy as it is now in any way.
It wasn't like, Spotify I don't think existed until...
I remember Adam Carolla even talking about like having to pay to be able for more people to hear it. Otherwise, like his servers would crash and stuff like that. Yeah, it was insane.
So something happened, and in 2014, where one podcast kind of changed everything.
Okay.
And it proved that the industry didn't fully really understand what the heck was going on, and people would binge the audio the same way they binged Netflix.
Okay, who is it?
It was Joe Rogan.
Okay, we're saying he was the biggest podcaster.
People started like paying attention to the mainstream podcast because he wasn't a radio DJ.
Yeah.
He wasn't a comedian, really. I mean, he kind of is a comedian.
Yeah, I think he would qualify himself as a comedian.
No.
Yeah.
He's an entertainer.
Yeah.
I mean, Fear Factor,
yeah.
UFC announcer.
Yeah.
But like companies like MailChimp started investing in, and eventually Spotify picked him up. But another weird moment for podcasting, and we're going to go back a little bit. You know who some people say was the first true podcaster?
I think I know.
Is it Tom Green?
Tom Green.
Tom Green
Yep.
kind of invented this format. And the stories of the shenanigans, and it's perfect for Tom Green. The Tom Green stories, because it's like he would put his phone number on the screen down here, and
he had the live video too at that time around the 2006 era. he had been waiting to have the video online, and he had got his own site, and he had his whole house set up like a studio, and that's where Joe Rogan came on the podcast and was like, "Oh, this is pretty awesome how you can do this and broadcast anywhere you want to." And they have a video of him saying that to Tom Green, and Joe Rogan gives Tom Green a lot of credit too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's and like there's stories of trolls that kind of like once they found out that Tom Green had his show and he had his phone number on, they would have prank calls.
There's always trolls who ruin everything.
Like,
even Zoom, like people
having 50 pizzas show up to his house.
Even ham radio. I have a friend who does ham radio, and people just like to jump on there and just say stupid stuff and ruin everybody's fun.
But that's the fun.
I know
that's why I own a scanner, is to listen to the crazy stuff. There's crazy stuff bouncing off the ionosphere. So yes, the inventor of podcasts in the modern era format is Tom Green. He created
one of the trailblazers, no question.
It's weird on how, and yes, it's such a weird thing, and he did it kind of on a lark. It seems like, just like, hey, I'm gonna. The internet's big now. I'm gonna have my own webpage, and I'm just gonna talk on the camera.
Yeah, no, he was always kind of into it, but he fit right into, once he had the technology, he jumped right on there with his own website, and didn't have his own show on TV anymore. So I'm a big Tom Green fan. Huge Tom Green fan.
I like Tom Green. Freddy Got Fingered was
one of the best.
I thought it was a great movie.
one of his shining moments.
Him tormenting his fake father in the movie.
Yeah.
Rip Torn, I think was his.
That's right.
And obviously, and then Rip Torn. I mean, didn't he try to rob a bank or something? Or
he was movie?
No, in real life. Rip Torn
life?
had a real alcohol problem, but working with Tom Green for a couple months would make me drink again.
I don't know about.
Well,
check out Freddy Got Fingered. If you haven't
not seen Freddy Got Fingered, you should definitely see Tom Green and support him. Even though you'd have to probably just send him money directly to Tom Green.
I was such a Tom Green fan. He had a MTV show on late night after his main MTV show, and I would record it at night because I knew it wasn't going to be on for long. So I would tape it every night, and it was canceled within 6 months.
Well, yeah, Tom Green production.
Yeah. People just don't get Tom Green.
It needs to be canceled. Needs to be gotten rid of.
They understand Joe Rogan somehow. Joe Rogan speaks to the common man somehow.
Yes. So Joe Rogan signs like a $1 billion deal with Spotify to be.
That was many years in.
Yeah, many years in. This is 2020.
Yeah.
This is after all the legitimization phase came in.
That sounds like it was about 5 or 6 years. He was just putting out episodes multiple times a week, and then they gave him that huge deal in 2020. Yeah. Dang.
In 2020, that was the big year. That was when the real money moved in on podcasting.
The benefit I can see from Joe Rogan is he just hit every different, he just got the expert in every different area. So he just brought everybody into his universe. I'm gonna like you have up there. I'm gonna get Alex Cooper. I'm gonna get Dax Shepard.
Yeah,
whatever. Who's Alex Cooper?
I don't know.
Who's the guy who Alex Jones?
Alex Jones.
Yeah. So he would get
turning the frogs gay.
He would get all these conspiracy theorists and alien everything, and then people would just the center point was Joe Rogan. So I think that was a good strategy.
I like Alex Jones.
I'm sure.
I've seen him in and when you're at a thing in public and the word Alex Jones is going to be here, man, people light up and and then he shows up. Alex Jones, at least at some point in his life, for many years, he liked to show up to political things, but wait until the keynote, the beginning speaker. So say you got this rally of any sort, political thing, starts at noon.
Yeah.
The first person that starts speaking, welcome everybody, thank you for being here. He waits until that sentence, and then that's when Alex Jones will jump on his megaphone in the periphery of the crowd and go, come on over here with me, we're gonna go over this way. And you'll just see this large part of the group like divert from the like watching an amoeba split.
Yeah.
So he lets the group get big, waits until the first person of the official thing starts speaking, and that's when he starts screaming and pulls a good percentage of the people away.
So that was his shtick, was interrupting press conferences?
Yes.
That's how he
interrupting.
Is that how he gained notoriety?
No. Oh no, he was already famous.
Yeah. Oh,
No,
okay.
no.
Oh, okay.
This is Alex Jones after.
What is he famous from? Was he a newscaster? Was he a...
No, dude. He was a basement dweller podcaster. Like the government's going to get you and has gotten you. You're already screwed.
Yeah.
Type guy. Like,
he wasn't even on the radio. He was only basically another early podcaster adapter.
Early podcaster adapter. And you know what? Honestly, I have a jar at home. The Alex Jones is right jar. And yes, there's times that he says some crazy, wacky things. But there's a lot of times that he's completely correct. And because it just sounds so outlandish, you really can't acknowledge it.
It's a crazy, wacky world out there.
Yeah, and we have a group of people in charge. Groups of people in charge. It's not just one group. It's groups of people in charge vying for power, and they absolutely do not care if it affects you and me and harms us. In fact, if it harms us, that's part of the plan in a way.
It reminds me of George Carlin. He said he likes individuals, but once we start grouping up, he can't stand us.
He was a smart man.
Yeah,
He was easy to quote because he was damn right all the time.
So yeah, we got off on that because it says that there were more major deals follow. So, Alex Cooper, but we don't even know who
Alex
that is.
Cooper, Call Her Daddy.
I don't know who that is.
It's a big podcast of some sort. I should know this, but
Alex Jones is out there not making any money, I'm sure.
No, actually, what he says crazy things sometimes because he's right enough about other things. They sued him into oblivion.
Yeah, he got kicked off one platform. Now he probably has his own platform.
Yeah.
I think he probably was on YouTube at the beginning stages.
Oh, yeah, they won't let him back on YouTube.
Yeah.
There's Alex Jones is banned kind of thing. And then there's Smart Less, 80 million, Dax Shepard. I don't know who the hell that is. I know who Dax Shepard is.
Yeah, he was originally on Punk'd. He used to punk people.
Okay.
Now he's an actor.
Yeah. A character actor.
How much did he make?
It doesn't even say. At this point, podcasts are no longer just about content; they are assets. So it's like it's the new advertising stream, where if me and Brandon here were extremely powerful, successful podcaster, which we do aspire to one day, I would be telling you about the delicious Brondo flavored Gatorade or whatever. Brondo is what the plants crave. We'd be talking about that in the middle of a show, or we'd have the little bouncing mascot on the screen jumping from one side to the next, telling you that you need to consume whatever consumable.
Because consuming is the goal.
Consume, yes. Or
consume content, consume product. That is our goal as Americans.
Or using a VPN so that no one knows what you're consuming. Podcasting turned into the biggest commercial thing, of them all. And you got every other format is dying, basically. The radio just exists because it's already there. The infrastructure is built. Can you name any of the radio DJs in the area? I can't.
No. Well, I know Frosty and Heidi and Frank. They've been around.
I've listened to them
since FM or since 97.1 FM.
Yeah, and that was you in high school listening to them in the morning kind of thing.
Yeah.
And now,
they moved to AM radio because FM radio is all turned to music, because I would assume music gets people to listen, but also has more commercials than ever.
Oh yeah, it's just commercials the
Yeah.
entire time.
Yeah.
In fact, Jack FM advertises that we have 40 minutes of no commercials coming up for a little bit, and then the moment that's over, it's commercials like, for another 20 minutes. Here's the thing, Brandon. Here's the biggest challenge that we have and every other podcaster has. There are 5 million podcasts out there. Yes, that is including the people who've shot 2 episodes with their best friend, talking about bread.
Right. That might be 2 million of them, but there might still be 2 or 3 million people actually doing it consistently.
Yes. So you need to consistently produce, have topical conversations. Most of them are never heard, more than by 10 people.
By those standards, I would actually think the people actually doing it consistently would be closer to 1 million or less. But
yeah, actually, me and Tawny we're almost at episode 10.
Mm-hmm.
We're already in the upper percentile of people who've produced episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So it just takes consistency.
What in the AF podcast?
What in the AF podcast, produced here at Streamers Podcast Studio in Westminster, California, on the beautiful Beach Boulevard. So it's no longer just about talking to a microphone. We're competing with professional production, high level storytelling, major media backed shows. So people who have writers, that own every encyclopedia from the 1700s, looking into things. So the Garage podcast, it's not dead. It's just not as visible. You can start there, but if your audio isn't good, if your visual, it's mostly about the audio because to listen on MP3, people listen on their car.
Has a lot to do with audio and consistency.
Yes,
because people they might make 10 a year, but it just doesn't go anywhere if you're only making 10 a year.
Yeah. Why am I going to look forward to that one thing that somebody might make in 6 months? And so it's you got to have good production value, because if your audio isn't crisp, people stray away. If you're doing video format, you got to have good, and not even 4K. Most people don't even care if it's 1080p or 4K. There's not the biggest difference. But you have to have a higher level of production value to last.
Yes, that is the goal.
And yes, some people do pretty well just on their phone. But the phone is, the phones are pretty good nowadays. And usually the people that have the really nice phone, they also have the really, really, really nice house. So there's even a production value in just having a $500,000 worth of kitchen in your background.
Yeah.
There's a reason that we have the lighting. Yeah, shoot, I wish I had a $500,000 kitchen in the background. I see these 18-year-olds or younger, and filming themselves, and I'm like, man, I wish I had marble everywhere.
The popular ones do have very fancy homes that they're either renting from their from their revenue, or they just started out there. It's hard to tell,
Yeah,
but
kids.
they all have $1 million setups.
Yeah, they're rich kids.
Yeah,
it's a lot of rich kids.
Yeah,
I'm not a rich kid, everybody. I know I owned a comb, but you can see that I've got some stray hairs and everything. So radio, not dead, but for all intents and purposes, the heyday, the beautiful moments of radio, those are gone. It's in podcasts now. The money's not in radio anymore, and there's millions of podcasts, literally millions. We went over at 5 million, and production matters a lot. You need to have a high production value. You're not competing with your neighbor. You're competing with you and I, Brandon.
Yes,
we're competing with multi-million-dollar productions
with our multiple shows.
Yeah, and we produce at this point 2 different shows here, and we're looking for more talent to come on in and utilize our space here at Streamers Podcast Studio here in Westminster, California.
That's right.
We have professional audio, professional video, production quality that actually stands out. I hope so. I'll admit my shirt was a little wrinkly today, but um, and basically we might not be the that million billion. Oh my God, you go on Instagram, right?
Every day.
Yes. I can't tell you, and I know this is happening to you. The amount of podcast studio commercials that I've been getting.
Yeah, they just started popping up.
Oh my God! You start looking into any of this stuff, and this is just all the data that's being sold at you. Uh, the amount of commercials I get for like the really, really like $180 an hour to sit on someone's chairs, you know. Um, and yeah, the furniture looks nice and the space looks big, but I don't want to. I just try to get a good video, good audio. Uh,
Learn about the process, make some connections.
yeah, and nowhere in those ads does anybody talk about how they're going to help you edit. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like I my goal as the producer, one of the founders of this whole thing, is I want people to walk away knowing they can do it. I want to show them as much as I can show them in the editing process because that's where everyone's scared is the editing. Is it scared me at first. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I've played with it. And there's a lot more to learn,
Yeah.
but it's pretty basic once you understand a couple of the fundamentals of how to move things around and get the audio, and then what trips people up on the it's amazing on all the copyright laws in this country. Uh, like all the music, it makes me miss Napster. Honestly,
Mm.
it got me thinking about that earlier in the show, of like all the stuff I used to be able to download and just um, just make, and half of it wasn't even copyrighted. It was just random sounds almost. Now it's weird how Google has kind of like pushed us in this lane that I've learned to actually escape a little bit. But so it's all about editing and
That's where the trouble comes in is when you're first starting, you don't know where to start. You got fears. Am I allowed to use my own music? I mean, I have friends who do use copyrighted music, but um, that you know, how much is the camera? How much is the space? How much is the sound? Like you just have the lighting. You have no idea where you're starting, and so it's good to have a little guidance.
yeah, that's the whole point of this studio is we're figuring it out ourselves to get to the next level, and I want to get a whole bunch of people behind us to build a little media empire ourselves if we can, because
Absolutely.
there's a lot of talented people out here. I've got a couple experts that I'm going to have in the next month. I'm looking at a rock guy,
Hmm.
geologist. Now,
Okay.
yeah. And now, and you know what I learned from him? Just call them rocks. Yeah, there's minerals, there's gems, there's this, that, the other thing. Nah, just rocks.
Mm,
Yeah,
they're
just
all rocks.
they're all rocks, just rocks. Like he doesn't have so much of an ego in it that like he needs to. No, I study gems or
Yeah.
minerals.
Yeah.
No, they're rocks. I talked to a lady yesterday um, that I'm hoping that I can get her on. She is one of the lieutenants of the F1 race in Long Beach, and I heard a little tidbit. The person who started the Long Beach F1 race died on Friday.
Mm.
Yeah,
So,
so there's going to be a little bit of turmoil in because they've been running it for 30 plus years. Have you ever been to the F1 rally?
no,
Have you ever been? Have you accidentally gone to Long Beach while that's occurring?
I don't think so. I don't know much about it.
Well, here's the beauty of how well they organized that event
Hmm.
is when you go to Long Beach when the F1 rally's happening, you're not grossly inconvenienced. So that's why you don't even know if you've been there.
Gotcha.
Because I've people are like, hey, let's go to this one restaurant or bar
Mm-hmm.
while the rally's going on. I mean, you can hear all the racing cars and everything. And it's so well organized that you could still get parking. You could still see the race and all that other stuff. But it's
Yeah.
not like there's some things that when they occur in your town, your
Yeah.
city, the logistics of just getting from point A to point B are so screwed up that it just won't work. But the F1 rally, and I'm really hoping that she reaches out, or gets back to me, so that I can have her on because
Yeah, that's the thing
the
about
history of it.
podcasting is you can talk to anybody. Everybody's got a story.
Everybody's got a story, and some people are just experts. Some people, like conspiracy theorists, I had one of them in, and I learned some interesting things.
So much to learn.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Is it's educational, not mainstream educational, where it needs to be in the encyclopedia and all that. Well, any other thoughts on podcasts and the history? Anything that we didn't cover that
You bring up this point that's kind of attached to what we said at the beginning, but it's like it's the opposite of the mainstream media. It's like you're actually allowed to say what's actually happening in life, what's true to you, what applies to your life, and I think that's why it has such universal appeal, because the podcasting has taken the power away from the multi-billion-dollar conglomerates that control all of our information, and they put it in our hands. That's truly the change, the change that we can make possible. The possible change we can make in the world is now we have the power to tell people our truth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we could spread our thoughts and our opinions freely without it being stuck in the guardrails. Because there's times in the mainstream media, it feels like there was a master script written and passed down to all the companies. Because it's like only 20 people that own every single TV and radio station in America.
The bar of what you're actually allowed to say on TV or radio has gotten to such a low level that like you're not allowed to even say anything controversial or say anything that could offend the corporations, the advertisers, the potential advertisers. So it is I'm just like, it was actually my dream in like when I was a kid. Like I want to talk to the world, and I don't want to do it, on mainstream media. So
yeah, and you know what? It's funny that you bring up, people being able to, whoever getting to speak without a script, without control, without being having a master. It's obvious when someone does in this business, and there's a whole bunch of people who it's very obvious that they've been propped up by others.
Yeah,
and
it's becoming more and more apparent.
Well, yeah, and
as time
usually
goes
it's
on.
politics. Usually it's politics. Where like one
Well,
side.
even all these actors and
the
TV
actors.
figures, they have owners.
Yes, they do, and we're tired of hearing from them. They're not normal. they like to everybody just I mean obviously they've always been different, but I can speak about it now because we're 6 years later. One thing that made me absolutely sick was when the actors all told us it's okay, just stay home for COVID, just stay home, and you got half of them are smoking a cigar in their hot tub in their like 8,000 square foot house, and I'm in my 250 square foot apartment. This tiny little thing. It didn't really feel right that you got everybody. Half of them have fled to like Ireland so that they could be in their one of their 6 homes to be most comfortable kind of thing, and they're telling me that I need to just stay stuck in my little tiny apartment, and telling everybody else, no.
I mean, obviously they had their reasons, but they don't relate to the common man, and they don't know what the common man had to do to get through those hard times.
Yeah, they had no idea how to survive.
Yeah,
because they already had a whole humidor full of cigars, and they had servants that'll pick up all the food and all the stuff for them. They had a couple $1 million in cash just waiting around for it. Yeah, no. I was dissatisfied with are celebrities. I've always not liked them.
Yeah. So, but we all kind of have access to, live streaming on our phones, and with a good enough phone. But like, if you want to really step up your production, you want to find somewhere to help you.
Yeah. All right, everybody. And with that,
And that place is Streamers Podcast Studio.
yeah, Streamers Podcast Studio. Come on back. I hope that we reach somebody who might reach out to us. Just type in Streamers Podcast Studio. We're in the heart of Westminster. My phone number is on there. I'm not going to say it out loud here on YouTube, which is where this podcast is going to go. Thank you, everybody.
We don't want to get bombed.
Oh well, I mean,
not bombed. I mean, we don't want to get doxxed or something.
Well, I mean, are there any beautiful, beautiful ladies that would like to get my phone number?
Also, we have like a fortress here. This studio is like a fortress. We have a big gate in front.
Yeah, and the elevator's broken right now, so you
elevator.
have to walk up 3 flights of stairs.
It'll be fixed in the morning, I'm sure.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? The elevator takes about a week to fix. It doesn't matter how expensive of a building you're in, unless you're in the really nice building. Well, with that, everybody, I really want to say thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week and a wonderful year. Thank you.